Hello, I'm Gino. Welcome to Dazzle TV. Today I'm just going to do a walk and talk. It's our last day here at Camellia Homes in Aklan. We're headed back to Iloilo City tomorrow. Wanted to do a walk and talk because a viewer actually mentioned to me why if I could do a retirement destination as far as Kalibo. He's actually was in Iloilo City, and one thing he noticed when he was in Iloilo City was the housing in Iloilo City is pricey, is what he said. It's just limited because he said there's a lot of people moving to Iloilo City looking to work. And it made sense, after he had mentioned that to me, because it's a city, and Iloilo City is known for having call centers now. There's a lot of people that move there to work and work at the call centers. So I told him I'll do a hello morning. I told him I'll do a video on my experience when I moved to Kalibo in 2012 to 2016. I actually had an apartment in Kalibo. And one thing about Kalibo, after I start thinking about it, the housing in Kalibo is a lot cheaper because, hey buddy, you can get a 2-bedroom apartment, which I had. My apartment was called Carrillo Snyder Apartments, and we actually did a video of that. I'll put a link on the description of this video so you can see that apartment. And that apartment was a 2-bedroom. I lived on the second floor, and my rent was 7,000 pesos a month. And so my rent was like $140. And actually last year I checked into that same apartment. The rent has only increased maybe 500 pesos. So you could still get the apartment for 7,500 pesos. And it was a nice apartment, 2-bedroom, had a balcony. So if you're looking to retire here in the Philippines on a budget, Kalibo would be a good place to consider. Could be you could put it on your list of when you do your recon here in the Philippines. Kalibo is not a city. People get thinking that Kalibo is a city, but they've been trying to become a city. They've applied for cityhood for like the last 5 years, I think, and they keep getting denied because really Kalibo is just a big town. There's no SM malls in Kalibo. There's no Robinson's Mall. We have a Gaisano Mall, and if you've been to a Gaisano, it's basically a department store with a few other shops besides the department store. And now we do have a city mall that opened. City Mall is another one-story mall. Basically it's just a grocery, and that opened about, I would say, 5 years ago is when that opened. When I moved to Kalibo in 2012, I moved there from Boracay because I wanted to go back to school. That's where I actually met Dazzle. We went to college together for 4 years, and we graduated in 2016. So lived there for 4 years, and actually the first 2 years that I was there, I didn't even have a car. I didn't even have a motorbike. All I had was a bicycle. Kalibo is small enough to where you can ride your bicycle everywhere, and public transportation is really convenient in Kalibo. There's just tricycles everywhere, and for I think the fare now is 10 pesos for the tricycle, so that's about 20 cents. You can pretty much go anywhere in Kalibo for that amount. I know one of the things that when I first moved to Kalibo, there really was no nightlife in Kalibo back in 2012. I mean, by 8 p.m. in the evening, the whole town just shuts down. There wasn't much going on. But now they do have they have a few food parks where people go there at night. They'll have like acoustic music and they'll drink beers. It's become like a hangout to drink beers and eat different types of food, like Filipino food, Korean food, you name it. Mostly again like bar type food. So it's become popular in Kalibo. I know there's a few food parks by Pastrana Park, and then there's one, it's called Ati-Atihan Avenue. We go there. It's if you're going towards the airport, there's a nice food park there. It's 6 a.m. here at Camellia Homes. As you can see, it's quiet. You know, that's why I like this will probably be my last walk here for a while, you know, since we're headed back to Iloilo City. Another thing is like the cost of living if you're living in Kalibo. Kalibo Public Market over in Kalibo, lot of fresh vegetables, inexpensive, mostly grown by local farmers, and seafood, plenty of seafood. And there's actually by the Kalibo Public Market, in our previous videos, there's a fruit stands there, and I would say there's at least 15 fruit stands side by side with selection of mangoes, you name it, rambutan, bananas, just a good selection of fruits, and inexpensive, you know, compared to like what I've seen the prices when we were in Iloilo City. I would say some of the fruit here are half price from what we were paying when we were in Iloilo City. So if you're on a budget, again, if you're looking for a place to retire in the Philippines, I would definitely consider Kalibo, because your rent is going to be cheap, your food is going to be cheap, and you don't even need a vehicle. You can get by with all the tricycles. You can, like, I got by for 2 years and I didn't have any transportation, no motorbike, no car. All I had was a bicycle. I didn't have to worry about car or motorbike registration, didn't have to worry about insurance, you know, things like that. And then if you live in Kalibo, you're only an hour and a half away from Boracay Island. So what I used to do when Dazzle and I was going to school in Kalibo, on the weekends we would be in Boracay Island for the weekend. So that's another plus. And then there's other beaches from Kalibo all the way to the coastline headed to Boracay. There's several beaches. You don't even have to go to Boracay to experience the beach. Even here in Kalibo, there's a beach, I know, by the Pook area. There's like a seawall there. They've really built that up. There's like a nice seawall now. People ride their bikes, they jog around the seawall. So there's enough activity, I think, if you live in Kalibo. It's not a boring town. There's stuff to do in Kalibo. And you saw our videos during January for Ati-Atihan. I mean, Ati-Atihan is so much fun. You know, it's like a good experience. The one thing though I would recommend, if you do decide to get an apartment in Kalibo, is get an apartment on the second floor. Because when I moved to at our apartment, we were on the second floor. Luckily I got a second floor apartment, because I wasn't even in the apartment not even 6 months, and a typhoon passed Kalibo and it flooded the first floor. The people living on the first floor got flooded. So I was thankful for that, because it's like, you know, that's one thing. It's like when it rains in Kalibo, there's a lot of areas in Kalibo that gets flooded, because Kalibo is right along Aklan River, and Aklan River has a tendency to overflow when we get a lot of rain, or a lot of rain in the mountains. You'll just see Aklan River rise up all the way to the bridge. So that's one thing to consider if you do decide to live in Kalibo, make sure you get an apartment that's on the second floor. Another thing would be in Kalibo, there's really not a lot of good hospitals. And that's why a lot of people, when you get sick here in Kalibo, here in Aklan, basically, a lot of us end up going to Iloilo City because there really isn't, if you need an operation or things like that, you know, that's one thing that's Aklan province is lacking. Everybody always heads to Iloilo City and get medical care there. They are building what's Asia Pacific Hospital that is supposed to be scheduled to open this year, 2023. It's a big facility. It's a medical center. One of the premier hospitals that's going to get built here in Western Visayas. So that is coming. They're supposed to be finished this year, but you know, this is the Philippines, so more likely it won't open till next year. But I did see that they've already hired their doctors, they've already hired their nurses. They're in the process of like just staffing the whole hospital already. So maybe they'll get it open by 2023, but for sure by next year they'll have that hospital open. So that's a game changer for people here in Aklan province, because finally we might have a hospital that we no longer have to travel to Iloilo City to get medical care, because Iloilo City from Kalibo is about a 3.5-hour drive. So you know, it would be a big help once that hospital opens. So if you're looking for a inexpensive place to retire here in the Philippines, I do think you should consider Kalibo. Even here in our subdivision here in Camellia Homes, we're about a 15-minute drive to Kalibo, so we're not far. That's why you see us, Dazzle and I, at any time we want to go eat at a Korean restaurant, McDonald's, you know, things like that. We don't have that here in our small town of Numancia, so we have to go to Kalibo to experience that. But Kalibo's really nice. I mean, from the 4 years that we lived there, you know, it's like it's a safe area. You know, we never had any incident there of crime during the time that Dazzle and I lived there. Everybody here in Aklan province, there's only 2 other universities. I think the one in Banga, ASU, Aklan State University in Banga, and the other one is in Ibahay. Oh, and there's a Malay College now. But most of the people here in Aklan province and even in Antique province, they go to college in Kalibo. So Kalibo is kind of like a college town. During the school year, you'll see nothing but college students in Kalibo. So that's why a lot of people like they go there and stay in boarding houses. Like Dazzle, that's where when she went our first year in college, she was living in a boarding house in Kalibo. Thank you for watching.
We'll see you in our next video.